Honest to Vlog.
Alright, hello scorekeepers. I'm going to talk about Nerdfighter Secrets.com today. If you haven't heard of Nerdfighter Secrets.com today, that's good for you. You really don't need to know about it. I don't recommend that you know about it, so please just stop watching this video now, or watch it anyway if you want to hear something that you don't know about. I don't know. Either way, this video is to people who do know about Nerdfighter Secrets.com because lately there's been a lot of chatter on the topic, and there have been a few videos that I've seen on the topic which I'll link somewhere. So I'm going to respond to the general chatter and to those videos and talk about it because it's pissing a lot of people off, and it pisses me off, and it pisses me off that people are pissed off about it, so yes. Now most of these negative, crap, pessimistic posts that seem to plague the site are all based around this thing of like, oh, am I a nerd fighter because I don't know if I measure up to these qualities, or am I enough of a nerd fighter, or oh, I'm not nerdy enough to be a nerd fighter, blah blah blah. And the response to that by a lot of people has been, of course you're a nerd fighter because everyone can be a nerd fighter because there is no definition of nerd fighter, it's just if you want to be one then you are one. I disagree. If everyone can really be a nerd fighter and we have 100% inclusiveness to it, then what's the point of the term? Why do we have nerd fighters? Why don't we just call ourselves humans if it means everyone? The whole point of the group is that it's a group of like-minded people who share common values of nerdiness, and they value intelligence and like books and whatnot. So if we're not going to have those common values, then what's the point? We might as well just not have it, and might as well just celebrate fellow humans. That said, right now I'm really only arguing against the people who said that nerd fighters can be anyone, because I don't believe that's true. I do believe they are right, however, in saying that most of the people on that site who claim that they can't be nerd fighters or whatever are just being insecure and whatever. Obviously, you are allowed to be a nerd fighter even if you don't like Doctor Who or all caps or ukuleles or whatever. It doesn't matter. We don't care. It's the values of intelligence and decreasing world suck and whatnot that we're after. Now, if you are, say, someone who thinks they are cool because they are stupid and doesn't like nerds and thinks books are lame, and you are a racist, then yes, maybe we have a problem. Another thing about the site is that it's really easy to look through those and get kind of depressed and think like, oh my god, Nerdfighteria is falling apart, look at all this negativity and pessimism. I thought Nerdfighteria was this happy place of optimism and sunshine and rainbows, and oh my god, look at it now, what's going on? Is it falling apart? Oh my god, no. No, it's not falling apart, promise me, it's okay, I have math. You figure that on that site there are at most a few hundred of those messages, meaning that at most there are a few hundred people who have some sort of big problem with Nerdfighteria where they don't think they fit in or whatever. A few hundred people. How many Nerdfighters are there? I think Nerdfighter videos are getting hundreds of thousands of views now. We're talking about less than 1% of Nerdfighteria. Less than 1% of Nerdfighteria doesn't like Nerdfighteria. Whoop-de-doo. I think 99% is a damn fine approval rating if you ask me. So keep that in perspective. This is basically the same thing that happens when you watch the news. They show you all the rapes and murders and you think that the world is terrible. That's not what's going on. It's a very tiny percentage of Nerdfighteria that is actually upset with Nerdfighteria. Like, everyone else is fine. We're all happy, we're all making videos, we're on new collab channels and VidCon and yay and up and yeah. So relax people, remember, math, numbers, percentages, good. Also, I think on the topic of defining yourself as a nerd fighter, I think it's really sort of a ridiculous thing to do anyway. I mean, sure, I call myself a nerd fighter, but only in the sense that I watch the Vlogbrothers, I'm a fan of them, I read John Green's books, and I'm a fan of the community, and I'm part of the community. But it's not like an identifying phrase that I use to limit myself as what type of person I am. A lot of people seem to be using nerd fighter that way as if it's a way to describe yourself, that, you know, you are a nerd fighter and you are this type of person, and that is a special breed of person that is somehow different than other people. I think that's one, completely absurd, and two, pretty unhealthy to define yourself as something and then say that, you know, you are in this clique of people and you are gonna like this clique of people better because you are somehow different than other people, and it's all a bunch of BS. Why would you want to define yourself in the first place? I'd argue that you never want to define yourself. Anytime you're gonna say, I am this word describes me, all you're doing is placing limits on yourself, and you're making a self-fulfilling prophecy that's gonna limit your behavior from what you really want to do, because you're gonna try to be living up to this weird false constrictions that you set on yourself of, I'm going to be this, and why do you want to be this? Just be whatever the hell you want. And that's why Nerdfighter Secrets sucks. Oh, no, another thing. I think the whole structure of the site itself is really stupid because of the anonymous nature of it. Obviously, it has to be anonymous because then you can get out your secrets, but why would you ever want to make a situation where people can say things with having no responsibility for what they say? That's not a good thing. Saying things anonymously is almost like the opposite of communication. The whole point of saying things is because then people hear the words from you and it's communicating from a person to a person or a person to a group or whatever. But you can't have that when it's anonymous because it's not, no one knows it's you, so what's the point? That's not communication. I don't see what getting a secret out that no one knows it's you, that doesn't do you any good. If people don't know the message came from you, you didn't communicate. And that is why Nerdfighter Secrets is lame and why I don't like it, even though you shouldn't not like it that much because it's not a big deal. And chill out people, and Nerdfighteria is still a lovely place. And we're done. I lied, we're not done. So even though it's a relatively small number of people that are leaving these negative posts, it's still a number of people that are leaving them, and no matter how small, that still sucks that people are feeling bad about themselves, and we should still look into it at some level. So we have people who are insecure and don't feel accepted by Nerdfighteria. Why? Maybe because they're high school age teenagers who are going to be insecure regardless of where they are. I find it absurdly ironic that here we are in Nerdfighteria, a community headed by John Green, who writes YA books himself and has endlessly recommended us to read Catcher in the Rye, and yet here we're all freaking out about a website full of basically people being Holden Caulfield. Newsflash, teenagers are insecure. So no, this is not a problem with Nerdfighteria. This is a problem with teenagers that is as old as teenagers are. By which I don't mean it's 15 years old, I mean it's thousands. As old as the human race. Probably not, because I bet like when we were chasing animals in the desert and whatnot, we probably didn't have time to sit around and have existential crises. So no, I am not thinking that we should do some big scale change to include these people in Nerdfighteria somehow. There are plenty of ways to be involved in Nerdfighteria if you want to be. It's just a matter of these people are going to be insecure no matter where they are, because like I said, they are teenagers. And they'll grow out of it, or maybe not. Maybe they'll live their whole lives being mediocre and feeling like they never quite measure up to their potential, and that's great for them. I don't know. People are going to be people. Chill out. Now I'm just waiting for the next batch of Nerdfighter Secrets to have people claiming, oh my god, I've never read Catcher in the Rye, or I didn't like Catcher in the Rye, can I be a real Nerdfighter?